Am I the butthole for kicking my sister out of my home before she could eat? I will set the stage. The other weekend, my boyfriend and I hosted our families for the first time since we moved in together. This included my boyfriend's parents, grandparents, mom's parents he grew up with, and his brother, my parents, and younger brother and sister. My sister is 18. When she was 7, she got really sick, and afterward, my parents refused to acknowledge any bad behavior, and this sent her out of control. She is demanding, spoiled, and selfish, and has never apologized for anything she did in her entire life since that day. It always drove me crazy. My brother gets annoyed sometimes, but they were closer in age and had more fun with it. I was the grumpy older sister who had to deal with her crap more. So the other weekend they were all here and she was going through our stuff. My boyfriend asked her to stop and she didn't. I made her stop and she was bitching about it. Then she started asking really intrusive questions to my boyfriend's parents about why they let his grandparents live with them. Right before dinner she said she wanted pizza, not whatever crap I had made. My boyfriend told her we weren't ordering pizza just for her, and she said she didn't want to eat my crap. I was so tired of her disrespect that I told her to get out of my house. She was shocked I kicked her out and thought I was joking, but I told her she was not welcome in my home if she was going to disrespect me like that. My parents are pissed I would kick her out in front of other company. I told her I was tired of the disrespect and she was acting like a child. They said I shouldn't have been bullying her. My sister is pissed that I would kick her out before she could eat, but she made it clear she wasn't going to eat what I prepared and we were not willing to pay for her to get takeout. Am I the butthole here? Should I have said nothing while my boyfriend's family was there? NTA, she goes through life thinking who's going to check me, boo? The answer is life. Life is going to check her. You just gave her the preview. Unintended ROA is always welcome, NTA. What's ROA? I assume Real Housewives of Atlanta. I assumed right hand of Albus, neither would I want to mess with. LOL. No Real Housewives of Asshole, a BTW original post. You are definitely into Real Housewives of Atlanta. Thanks. Red Hot O'Hilly Eppers. Robbing homeless overweight aphids. How many Rolexes you got, boo? Still waiting for those by Sherry Joggers. This comment is everything. I give you gold but I'm broke, so here you go, boo. Edit. Thanks for the awards, I now feel like a rich bitch. Loving the Real Housewives comments up in here. I'll do it. I got again. So many jump scares. Hold on. What mental gymnastics is this? She said she isn't eating your crap, but then she's pissed you threw her out before she could eat? Eat what? There was no food edible enough for her. What she was going to eat? You didn't lock her up in the basement, where ordered food couldn't be delivered. She was perfectly capable to return to her home and order food to be delivered there. You didn't prevent her from eating, you didn't make her starve. NTA. And your sister is horrible, my condolences. She was perfectly capable to return to her home and order food to be delivered there. But then who will pay? Is NTA. Wasn't paying anyways, as she wasn't ordering pizza, and Sister Zilla was fully aware of that. Taken up vote for making me laugh out loud at Sister Zilla. Did her sister a favor, real adult consequences for her behavior. This was the parents' job, but they failed to do it. She better be happy she got some type of foreplay, because life will F you with no lube. Yep. Don't forget it's monster vagina, lol, makes Belle Delphine's giant dildo look like a top. She not only got checked, she got kicked to the curb. I bet her sister was like, whatever happened to customer service? This not the butthole unless you invite her back. I hope this is an area where the COVID numbers are low, otherwise ESH for getting together. Right? My thoughts exactly. Who's going to check me, boo? I've never seen an episode, but just Googled it. Her delivery is on point. Web link. I just had to find the GIF for those who didn't know it. Web link. Ops sister, are you going to drag me? Life? Life grabs her wig and won't let go. Life and her sister, thankfully. Great job, Op. NTA. Shirley. Yes, my different worlds of Reddit are colliding. Next, she'll be hosting a press conference. She's for sure making a framed list of personal etiquette rules when dealing with her. Laughing out loud also, seeing this comment made my day. NTA. Love, love, love the reference. Next, she'll be hosting a press conference. Beautiful. And to your Atlanta housewives, I present Heather Dubrow of Orange County. We're done. Please leave. Is this She by Sherry? NTA, family or not, that's your and your BF's home. If someone is disrespecting either of you, your home, or your guest, you have every right to kick them out. In my opinion, you should have kicked your parents out too. Looking back, you're right. F them kids and be a little careful with that phrasing. I'm going to F that pumpkin. You're out of your gourd, man. And stay out of mine. Might not make a difference, but have you had a real conversation with your parents letting them know they not disciplining her has turned her into a spoiled, entitled brat? How with her attitude she's going to have a very hard time in life, and I hope they're preparing to take care of her the rest of their life, because she's going to have a hard time dealing with life when life doesn't conform to her wishes and she can't hold down a job. They need a hard reality check of how awful she is, and they helped make her that way. The parents for sure need that reality check, but I think that it needs to come from someone other than Op. Even though she would be completely correct about the situation, it's too easy for her parents to dismiss her because in their opinion they're the parents, so obviously they know better than Op, and Original Post just wants to bully her sister. I honestly think that how they're going to learn this lesson is the hard way. The parents for sure need that reality check. In the book The Coddling of the American Mind, authors Greg Lukianoff and Jonathan Haidt refer to parents like these parents as bulldozer parents, as opposed to helicopter parents. Helicopter parents hover, but bulldozer parents clear paths for their kids so they don't have to suffer any hardship or deal with obstacles. They're overprotecting them to an unhealthy level. By doing this, their children become entitled and can't deal with the pitfalls of life. They've never learned consequences and have a hard time dealing with opposing views or not getting what they want. Definitely NTA. But Original Post really needs to talk with her parents. They are not doing Op's entitled sister any favors, even though they think they are. I've heard of this, they'll bulldoze anything in their child's way, even their other children. Speaking as the scapegoat child of a narcissist, I grew up with this nonsense for my golden sibling. And yeah, she's a miserable person. No real friends, even her co-workers and the office staff at her church dislike her. It's really sad. We never thought as children that there was an upside to being the crap, scapegoat kid, but watching my golden siblings failing in life, while I succeed, is kind of nice, in a very petty way. I'm now very glad that I was the crap kid. I'm tough, independent, and don't tolerate that kind of crap from anyone. My kids are fantastic people and I'm happy. The book The Coddling of the American Mind, not who you were replying to, but I wanted to say this sounds like a great read, thanks. This. If they saw Op's refusal to cater to her sister's demands and requests to stay out of her stuff as bullying, then Original Post talking to them is likely to be seen as further bullying behavior. Barring the ability for other people to call them on their idiocy, Original Post should call them on it, focusing on how horrible she was being to boyfriend's family and how basic manners states you don't demand specific food as a guest, and family does count as a guest, they just generally get a little more leeway. If they're still siding with that girl ad and encouraging that behavior at 18 years old, they won't be reasoned with. My aunt and uncle started out with 2 kids. Their son was raised well, but my uncle spoiled his daughter rotten. She was a teenager when they were surprised with another pregnancy. His next daughter was not spoiled rotten, because he'd seen how his older daughter turned out. If the parents can't see the harm their actions have caused now that she's 18, a talk isn't going to change that. They'll probably accuse Original Post of being jealous or petty or something. The parents also don't seem to know the actual definition of the word bullying. It's when you say no, right? Don't snoop through our stuff. Equals bullying. No, we are not ordering food for you separately. Equals bullying. No, we refuse to put up with your bad behavior. Equals bullying. It's also worth mentioning that letting her continue acting like in front of the other guests would have been more shameful than kicking her out in front of them. Your parents have a warped sense of reality if they really thought you were the embarrassing one out of this situation. This. Seriously, I was wondering how they thought an adult because she was 18 is like a toddler and they thought it was wrong. Original post embarrassed her by kicking her out in front of everyone. I know she was doing that perfectly well all by herself before kicked out. If anything, original post saved them from embarrassing themselves even further by nipping it in the bud then and there. She's having a spoiled temper tantrum like a kid over food and going into their stuff. Really all over the place, like are they on drugs? Seriously, she's so socially obvious and no care of how she looks or being rude. I think kicking out your sister when she is the one being disrespectful is the best way to handle it. I think it benefits her to be singled out and treated as responsible for her own actions. If your parents want to leave in protest, they can. But I think the most ideal outcome is she leaves alone and there's no one to serve her dinner. Also, I tell your parents, my parents are pissed, I would kick her out in front of other company. Your sister was embarrassing the family in front of company with her behavior. Kicking her out was the best thing you can do, as at least there was a period of the time where your guests saw your family behaving normally and respectfully. When an 18-year-old is demanding pizza, calling their host's foods crap, refusing to stop messing with their host's belongings when told not to, etc., everyone noticed. The company noticed her behavior. Whenever she acts like this, people judge her and judge your parents. It already looked bad and it would have looked worse the longer she was allowed to keep it up. Also, how dare she disrespect you not only in your home but in front of other guests? Your parents are right to be ashamed and embarrassed, but they're blaming the wrong kid. NTA. Your sister is a spoiled brat at age 18, your parents enabled her to behave that way. She was an embarrassment, why should your BF's family have to put up with that behavior? If your parents enjoy that, then they can go home with her. You put up a boundary. She hopefully will think about the fact that what she got away with at 12 is not going to fly at 22, 32, etc., or she won't, and she will have a very unhappy and lonely life. Her choice. But hopefully she will learn that just because family puts up with your bad behavior, others won't. How did you bully her? Not the butthole, you did the right thing. Surprised your parents stayed when your sister left. To be honest, your boyfriend's family is probably seeing her act like that and not thinking very highly of your parents. They should be pissed that she'd act like that in front of other company, because it reflects very poorly on them. Not on you. I think it's a good precedent to set, with your first guests at your new place, even. Your sister was the only jerk, but you basically showed all your guests that even if they're family, you act up, you get put out. But yeah, next time your parents too, laughing out loud. Did they leave with her? Also, as BF's family, I would have been side-eyeing original post if she hadn't put up more of a stink with the sister being so nosy about BF's family life. As the hostess, it was Op's job to intervene if one guest is being rude to another guest. BF's family were caught in an etiquette dilemma between allowing sister's rude behavior or speaking up and risking a bigger drama. If anything, original post should have kicked her out sooner. Yes, my first thought was that it would have made a good impression on the BF's parents seeing her deal with the sister, having themselves just experienced her odd behavior. It might have been apparently to them that it was perhaps the first time the sister had received such pushback. You should have kicked your parents out too. I was going to say this. Op, you're definitely NTA. NTA, your sister sounds awful and well done for standing up to her. Your boyfriend and his family will likely think better of you for doing so. Generally, she's annoying more than anything, but she crosses the line far too often for me. So what's the difference between generally and far too often? Sounds to me like she's generally annoying and crosses the line far too often. She's both. All the time. She deserves to be kicked out. Not the butthole. I actually think you did a solid by showing your boyfriend and his family that you'll stand up for your property and people. You won't let someone make you and others miserable just because they're family, and that's awesome. Don't let your parents' failures make you think otherwise. Awesome comment. Thanks. She's going to learn the hard way fast if she has a roommate ever. But then every issue will be because her roommate is unbearable, and the worst human being alive. Not because your sister is a spoiled brat. This is what is currently happening with my sister, so she's paying for a room to rent but sleeping on another friend's couch. How did your BF's family react? You don't have to minimize her actions. You can say most of the time she's a habitual line stepper that needs to get checked. What you did was showing respect for yourself and your other guests. And you're doing her a favor setting her some boundaries too. NTA, and I'd seriously ask your parents, it was rude for me to kick her out in front of company? Why was it not rude of her to be a pushy, snooping crap in front of company? Why was it okay for her to show such atrocious behavior in front of company? Why was it okay for her to insult me in front of company? Why was it okay for her to yell at me/my boyfriend in front of company? You know what, Mom, Dad, why was it okay for you to allow your kid to act like that in front of company? Y'all should really be embarrassed about that and the fact you didn't call her out on her horrid behavior. My house, my rules. Bye-bye. Totally agree. You are NTA. But your sister and parents are. Your parents are not doing your sister any favors by setting her up for failure for the rest of her life. You might consider meeting one-on-one with your parents, without sister, and have a full-blown come-to-Jesus talk with them. Lay it all out starting with the questions listed above. Yes, your sister is acting like an entitled brat, but they are responsible for allowing her to become the young woman she is today. How do they expect her to learn how to survive in the real world where she will not get everything she wants in life? How do they expect her to be able to obtain and hold on to a job with her bad behavior? Most jobs come with a probation period or are in places where an employer doesn't have to have a reason to terminate an employee. Do you really expect an employer to find her behavior acceptable? Are they making arrangements to support her for the rest of her life when she can't cope with the real world because they failed as parents to see that she can become a fully functioning adult? And be blunt with them that, if they anticipate dumping her on you or your brother because of family, think again. You will absolutely never take her in, and it is doubtful that your brother would either. Frankly, I would tell them that their time would be better spent on trying to turn your sister into a functioning adult with manners, able to learn self-control, learn to play well with others, and become self-sufficient. Sister will never win any popularity contests with her attitude and behavior. I would cut ties with you parents and sister until your parents acknowledge the role they have played in creating this monster and your sister becomes a human being worthy of being allowed out into society. Has your BF told you what his parents thought about that night? Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.